Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Ahmad Rozik Isnano, postgraduate student of Educational Psychology Program, Indonesia University of Education. Self-adjustment occurs when individuals are faced with new situations, such as the current pandemic. I will present an article about adjustment during the pandemic, entitled Get Help from YouTube and Google. High school student self-adjustment during the COVID-19 pandemic. Introduction. To deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has set temporary regulations as a response to the situations. The regulation urges every school to conduct a long-distance learning, which is mostly mediated by online digital technology. The rapid and sudden change requires teachers and students to be able to adapt. Online learning requires a student to be able to use online learning platforms such as LMS or learning management system, Google for Education, and other social or learning media. The use of learning media is adjusted to school conditions, student abilities, and parents. The online learning patterns has a tendency to give assignment and correct assignment more often than giving materials. Kemendikbud 20 and 20. Assignment from books and teachers are more than independent assignment. Score corrections are more frequent than qualitative feedback. Sudden change in the learning process makes students face with new challenge without efficient preparations. So that student in the adjustment process have a tendency to respond to feeling anxious in learning. There are several symptoms that arise as a result of online learning. One of which in anxiety that comes from social stressor and academic stressor. Methods. Qualitative approach to explore student experience of online learning during the pandemic. We in-depth interviewed 11 students from 5 different cities in Java. Next, result. As we can see from table result, we know that in academic adjustment, there are two categories threshold that are social and academic. Most of the students relate able to the academic which is first, difficult to understand the material. Second, parents demand. Third, test that must be passed. Mostly they doing self-study using YouTube, Google, and PDF. If they feel burnout, mostly they play some music and on Spotify or doing self-talk like this will be paced. I can handle this. Next, student during online learning are faced with social stressors and academic stressors or other stress points. Student self-adjustment is in how they respond to stressors and how other response they feel. Things that become social stressors for students include the demands of parents, expectations in good academic performance. Next response then two must guide the younger siblings. While in academic stressors, all students feel difficulty in understanding the material. Respondent 6 demand from parents to get good academic result. Research has found that a positive relationship with parents is associated with better adjustment during the pandemic, while a negative relationship is more detrimental. Benji and Morris 20 and 21. Online learning students are faced with limited study hours becomes study hours are condensed. Uh, while students must also successfully pass exam and college selections. So that in understanding deeper material, student must study independently, which tend to require high concentrations. These situations make students feel anxious and make effort in academic and non-academic adjustment. For example, The results show students are coping by listening to songs or Spotify. While in academic adjustment, students do an independent study with the help of YouTube and Google's because they feel more clear. YouTube videos can be repeated until students feel they understand. Well, for Google student, usually looks for reading materials, practice questions, and how to solve them. According to the study, students' anxiety during learning could be triggered by causes including in difficulty understanding the material, difficulty doing assignment, internet availability and conditions, technical constraints, and initial understanding that must be processed for the next assignment. Tawirawan 20 and 20. In self-adjustment, how goals become valuable to individuals so that they make adjustment to achieve their goals. Conclusions. The students' academic adjustment comes from stressors which are divided into two categories, namely social stressors and academic stressors. Next, and the student academic adjustment were learning independently with the help from YouTube and Google. Several reasons were put forward by students. In academic adjustment, the balance between goals and satisfaction in achieving goals is the driving force for student academic adjustment. The result show that the student's goals is to be able to carry out a college exam and test well. Okay, thank you.